Hello friends, welcome back to this tutorial series of Jetpack Compose, and in this tutorial we are going to learn about another effect handler, that is derived state of. So when we have one state and we want to derive another state out of that and use that in our composables and manage them accordingly, that time we can use this derived state of effect handler. So let's jump into Android Studio and see it more practically. So here I'm in Android Studio project and I have created this derived state of demo file. uh, Before I would just wanted to show the main functionality, that's why I have already built this some type of UI. Let me explain this quickly. So here I have created a composable function, and here I just added this lazy column. So this lazy column it just contains 100 items. It is just a text view, and it will show item and dollar number, just like you can see it here, item 0, 1, 2 and so on up to the item 100 items. So I have just given it a style of the 30 sp and give it a modifier, and with a padding of 16 dp for each of the layout. And here I have added a one floating action button. So you can see it here, this is the floating action button I have added. So and it has the up arrow. So I just wanted to give this functionality so that whenever user clicks on this one, and let's say user is on 50th or 60th item, and he or she wants to go to at the top of the list, so that's when user will click on this one and they will be navigated to the top of the list. That's the functionality I wanted to implement here. So I will implement that functionality in the on click here, and this is just an icon I have added, this up arrow icon. So that's it for the tutorial. uh, I mean, for the initial setup of the tutorial. So let's implement this functionality. How can I implement that? I have I have created this lazy list state, that is state for this lazy list, that is remember lazy list state. And I have in the lazy column I have also add this state to this one. Now I just, if I want to implement this functionality, then I of course need to deal with this lazy list state. So that's why what I can do is lazy list state dot, and we have this scroll animate scroll to item, so that we just wanted to give an index here, and our composable will be automatically take us to that respective item. So I'll just pass the 0 so that we will be navigated to the top of the list. But if you hover on this one, then this is the suspended function, and we need a coroutine for this one. So we already know how to launch a coroutine. Val scope equal to remember coroutine scope. Yes, and this scope we can use it here, scope dot launch. Inside this we can move this statement so that the error goes away, and now we should be able to do this one. If I just start this interactive mode for this one, and yes, now we can tell this one, now we are at this point, and if I click on this one, now we are navigated to the first item, that is top of the list. So that is working pretty well the way we expected. But now if I wanted to implement this functionality, let's say I am here or I'm already at the top of the list, but it doesn't make any sense to still show this button if I'm already in the top position. So it should make sense when I'll scroll few items, let's say 10 items, then only this button should appear, otherwise this should stay hidden. So how can we implement that? That is pretty much simple. We can just create one state for that, that is show scroll to top button by remember, and here I'll just write mutable state of, that will be a false. That it that this state will be a boolean. You can see it here, now it's showing as a boolean. We can just use the same here. If we have this show scroll top to bottom, then only we'll show this floating action button, else we won't show it. By default it will be false, but after as we scroll to the some item, that is 10th item, then it should show. Okay, so now you can see by default it has been gone, but we also need some condition to make it true, so that it should be visible. So where I can set that condition, so I can implement it here. And For that, I can just use launch effect and I can pass some key. So which key should I pass? I want to observe this one. That's why I'll pass this key, lazy state dot, and we have this first visible item index. So it will help us to which is the first visible item in the list we currently have. So I'll just observe this state, and under this I'll just write this logic show, sorry, show scroll top to button. And when I'll do that, when lazy list state, sorry, lazy list state dot first visible item is at least greater than or equal to 10. So if this turns true, then this will be assigned a value true. Otherwise, if this is false, if the first item, that is the whatever the item we are seeing here, if it is less than or equal to less than 10, then it won't show. And if as soon as we can the 10th item touches here, soon this condition will become true, and this will be assigned, and this composable will be recomposed, because uh, we are dealing with this state, with this lazy list state. That's why this composable will be recomposed. And this is just showing an error because we just want to set it as a var. Okay, so now let's see how it works, if it works the way we want or not. Yes, now currently it is not showing, and if I scroll through return, and as soon as we cross the 10th item, yes, we are able to see that list. And if we click on this one, then just as expected, the list is, we are navigated to the top, and again that up button is now hidden. It gets shown again. And yeah, now this is the pretty much great functionality we have implemented. But till now, we have spent around some minutes of this tutorial, and I haven't talked about anything regarding the derived setup. But this was the background. Now, let me show you where you need this derived setup. This is working pretty well, but you can see some warning here. And if I hover on this one, let's see what it's doing. It is saying frequently changing state should not be directly read in composable function. So what does this mean? This means this first visible item index, that is what is the key parameter here we are passing, that is a state, but that is a frequently changing state. So if we have hundreds of items and we can just scroll through very rapidly through those, so every time this launch effect block is getting fired, as soon as we are scrolling up or down, this launch effect block is getting fired, and repeatedly for each and every item it is checking for this condition. And if this condition is true or not, then accordingly this value is being set, and as per this value is set, this value is getting used here. So this composition is being recomposed uh, multiple times. So that is creating a problem that will hamper a lot of performance. So that will be a performance issue, a bigger one. We have currently only the t stakes layout, but maybe we can have something more complex layout here. So that will definitely hamper the performance of the app. So that's what it is saying. We should not do this one. So instead, what we should do, so that's where derivedStateOf comes in. So how we can implement that? We don't need this launch effect here. Let me just copy this statement and I just remove it. Okay. So how can I do that? First one, let me change it to the val, and here instead of this mutable state of, I can just write derived state of, and can just pass this condition here. So what will it happen now here? And we already have this interactive mode on, and let's see if we have the same effect. Yes, we have the same effect. As soon as we cross our 10th item, this button gets visible. If I click on this one, then it is navigated to the top. Yes, we have the same effect, but now no longer any warning or any error. Now, this is the place where we can use this derived state of, and we don't need this launch effect block as well. Now, how this works internally? Well, when we were in this launch effect block, we don't even we didn't even this actually these are the two states we are handling here. This is the first scroll top to button which we are actually implementing, which are using here to decide whether to show this floating action button or not. And we are deriving this state on the basis of this another state. So this lazy list state is a one state, and we are deriving this another custom state, and we are using this state. So we are deriving this state by using this state, and this is well fit in the definition of derived state. This is what it means. We are deriving this state from this is already existing lazy list state. So, and if this situation arises, then of course you can use this derived state of block. Now internally what is doing, it is checking when we had a launch effect block, every time it was launching a separate launch effect block. And as we are uh, going scrolling through the different items, then as we know already the behavior of the launch effect block, as soon as it gets a new state to work on, it cancels its previous job and heads it and starts with this new job. And this gets repeatedly happen, and that's why a lot of things happens in the background, and lot of storage is also occupied with that, so that hampers the performance. Now this derived setup doesn't do this, because it will only notify this state whenever this condition matches. So every time it will just check for this condition, and if there is any change in this condition, then only it will notify this one, and then this state will notify the composable that this has been changed, and thus this composable will be recomposed. So this is a performance optimization, and that's where we can use derived state. So because in if we have let's say for the 0 to consider 0 to 10 atoms. So for the first 10 atoms, this this first visible atom index, this state has been changed a lot of times. This lazily state, this state has been changed 10 times, but this condition didn't change a single time. And if this is the behavior we are giving, then it doesn't make sense to again uh, even if the condition gets turns out false, and then again notify this one, and then again uh, notify this composable, and this composable gets recomposed. That doesn't make sense. That's why it totally makes sense to use a derived state of in such instances. So that's it about this effect handler derived state of. I hope now you have understanding about where to use it and how to use it, what the purpose behind that. If you have still some doubts, then you can put your questions in the comment box below. I will try my best to answer those. Alternatively, if you want to get your queries answered directly by your like-minded developers or from me, then you can join AshishMobileDev WhatsApp group. The link is in the description and the first pin comment, so that where you can ask your queries and get them resolved, and you can also have a chance to directly connect with me as well. If you like this video, then please click on like, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you will be notified whenever a new video is published. We will meet in the next tutorial with some another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye.